Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I have a set of 3 printmaking heart cards to share with you using brand new products from the Simon Says Stamp Sweetheart release. We're going to start by stamping our hearts for our cards with the brand new Printmaking Hearts stamp set. There is coordinating dies for this as well, and if you like the printmaking series that Simon Says Stamp has done with some other sets, you're going to love this. I am especially partial to hearts, as many of you probably know, and this is a super fun and easy way to get multiple cards out of one crafting session. So what I'm going to do is take 3 different color combinations of Pawsitively saturated inks from Simon Says Stamp, stamp them here on our white cardstock or whatever cardstock color you like, and we're going to do the stamp layering. So I'm going to keep my stamp in place and we're just going to move our paper, and I'm going to use this half sheet of paper for 2 of them, and then for the third I will use another sheet of paper, but we're going to get lots of hearts. Now I am only going to stamp 3 colorways on camera. Well, actually I only use 3 colorways, but I do end up stamping each of these twice. And that's because as I finished the first set and finished the first card, I realized I could really use some more hearts to make more cards. So I am using 3 colorways, and actually I choose not to use this colorway here. We're going to go back to old reliable Seafoam, Surf, and Ocean. I'm also using Cherry, Watermelon, and Guava, and Rose, Peony, and Carnation. So pinks, reds, and aqua, my favorite color combination for Valentine's or love-themed cards. And you'll see me stamping each of these here. So I started with the first block, and you could do this in any order you want. I'm going to take the next block, line it up with my previous stamping, and then we're going to do our mid-tone color. And again, you could do this dark to light, light to dark like I'm doing. Just 3 colors are really going to give you a great effect. You also could totally do 3 different colors from 3 different color families. I just really love the tone-on-tone effect of this. So you'll notice me stamping these. Sometimes I stamp them more than once to just really get a good impression. It really just depends on your MISTI or your tool here. And then you're going to see me just keep switching these from each set. I think another really fun idea would be to do a set of these hearts in all the colors of the rainbow and do some really fun heart cards with all of the colors. And I would love to see somebody create something like that. I think that would be really fun. This is addictive. I love cards that I can break down into simple steps like this. So we stamp all of the hearts, we die cut all of the hearts, and then we're going to work on the backgrounds. These cards feature all brand new products. There is only one, well, the inks aren't the new inks, I guess I should say that. But there is only one new die, or one old or previously released die that I'm using today, and that's the sentiment labels, which I use in like probably 90% of my videos. So I think that that's really fun as well. Try this with things that you maybe already have. Maybe you already have some heart stamps. They might not be layering stamps, but you can create, similar card ideas with that. And hopefully you can take some of the ideas from this and translate them into your own card making projects, even if you don't have these supplies right here. Now, I am loving, obviously, the printmaking hearts, but we will be stamping a border from the Ornate Borders and Frames stamp set here in just a minute. This is going to be a workhorse in your craft stash. Both of these actually are fantastic basics. Yes, I made Valentine's cards with these, but I feel like a good heart can work for everything depending on how you switch up the colors. borders are going to work for all kinds of stuff, you guys. So really look at that Ornate border stamp set. You're going to see how I'm going to use the largest scallop frame, which you guys know me, the scallop is going to be my favorite, but I cannot wait to use some of these other borders in the set for my cards. Okay, so here is the coordinating die, and I love this because no, we don't have to line up multiple 9 different hearts. We have all of them in one, and then we just die cut, which is fantastic. Okay, we have our Ornate borders and frames. Now I have trimmed down 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panels of smooth white cardstock. I kind of wish I would have just left this in a half sheet and flipped it around. I was not thinking. Here's what I wasn't thinking about, you guys. There are coordinating dies for all of the Ornate frames and borders. I think in my mind, I was thinking there weren't frames for this. And then I tried to line up my frame in my MISTI and I wasn't getting the result I wanted. Now I am able to use this, but I laughed to myself when I picked up my package and I realized the dies were in the back and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Please tell me I'm not alone and I'm not the only one who does silly things like that. So I am stamping this border with ocean colored ink. This was the darkest teal color in the Pawsitively saturated ink trio I used for the hearts. And I am going to do this 3 times. Now, before I die cut the background, I could have done it before, but I do think it's a little bit easier to do this or to die cut this after the fact. I am going to take a little bit of Post-it tape and I am going to mask off the edges of my frame. And why am I going to do that, do you ask? Well, I want to add some color to that center portion of the frame, but I don't necessarily want the color to go all the way out to that stamped border. More like an extra layer, if you will, without an extra piece of paper. I am all about if you can get that extra layered look without another piece of paper, I am here for it. So we are going to go ahead and ink up our frame with this ocean color ink. And then I'm taking Post-it tape. Now, I do feel like this is kind of a wasteful use of Post-it tape or washi or whatever you use, because where I normally would reuse this for each card, like I didn't. I went ahead and masked off each one of these. The reason being, we are going to ink this with Distress Mica Stain. Shiny Bauble Distress Mica Stain matches this trio of turf, ocean or surf colored inks perfectly. And so I want to add kind of a distressy type of background, something a little more interesting than white, and also something not ink blended. I want it to be very splattery, and I don't want it to take away from the border. So I've masked off the edges. I'm mixing up my Shiny Bauble Distress Mica Stain really well, and I'm splattering the backgrounds. And again, I have masked off all 3 of these, and I'm going to let that sit and dry for a minute before I remove the Post-it tape and then take the coordinating die and die cut these. So Post-it tape, I do try to reuse it when I can to make the most of it, but it is a fantastic way to mask off something like this. And I love the results. So we're going to let that dry. And then when we come back here in a minute, the magic of video, you're going to see my backgrounds all die cut. So I'm going to take the largest die that coordinates with the Ornate borders and frames, and we are going to die cut all 3 of these backgrounds. And believe it or not, I was able to die cut these exactly and get perfect die cuts from each of these, even though I didn't leave a ton of border. Look how pretty these are. And with that nice scallop, it's absolutely gorgeous. So what we're going to do is we're going to start taking our hearts and we're going to decorate the background. And we have 16 hearts per card. We're filling that entire center section with hearts. And what I found worked really well was to kind of go right side up, upside down, right side up, upside down, and do 4 rows. That fit really nicely within the scallop border of this design. And I'm going pink, red, aqua, pink, red, aqua, and I'm just going to continue that all the way. Now, because I decided to do 3 cards, I did need 2 sets of pink hearts. So that would be 18 pink hearts, 18 aqua, and 18 red. I do end up with like just a handful of extra hearts when I'm done that could be used for any card. I just tuck them into my stamp storage pocket, and I'll probably make another card with those or use those hearts for something else another time. But I felt like that was a good use of my time to be able to do all of these at one time. And I'm just random. I just picked up the hearts at random. I had stacks of pink, stacks of red, and stacks of aqua, and I'm popping them all up with foam adhesive. I like that little bit of pop up off of the background. I think it really adds to the interest of the card design. We won't be popping up any of our sentiments this time, which often I like to do, but because the whole background panel is popped up with foam, I feel like we don't really need to. Look how cute. Okay, I went ahead off camera and did the rest of them. Look how beautiful these backgrounds are. Now you could do anything at this point. Don't need a Valentine's card. Try a birthday card or a friendship card, whatever you want to do here. I did take 3 of the new large die sets, Hugs and Kisses, I Think the World of You, and Sweetheart, and we are going to die cut these from some Simon Says Stamp pink glitter cardstock. And then I also die cut these same sentiments from some slate gray cardstock. I'm not using the shadow for each of these sentiments. Instead, I'm going to slightly offset the glitter sentiment from the gray sentiment, so it almost has a little bit of a shadow. And then we're going to glue this directly to the background, one of these backgrounds. I could have done them all the same. Maybe you even just need some thank you cards. Thank yous would be fantastic with this same design. For me, I just wanted to kind of play with many of the different sentiments from the set. So like I said, I picked Hugs and Kisses, I Think the World of You, and Sweetheart. And then in the Printmaking Hearts stamp set are some phrases that are going to work perfectly with our cards. So I am going to pick, looks like there is 9 different greetings in this Printmaking Hearts. We're going to use 3 of them for our cards. As I am gluing each of these sentiment die cut sentiments, together, I'm placing them right on top of the popped up hearts, and I'm putting something heavy. Acrylic blocks are fantastic. Most of us don't use them for stamping too much anymore, but have them in our stash. I love using them to help hold things down while the glue is drying. We're going to put those down and let that just kind of sit and let gravity do its job. Hold it nice and flat. And then I have picked the phrases, "You make every day special," "I adore you more each day," and "You make my heart happy," from the Printmaking Heart set. And those are going to be stamped on this little bit of shadow. Is one of my favorite go-to techniques from my scrapbooking days. I've always loved the look of a little teeny tiny shadow peeking out from behind my die cut sentiments. So now we're going to grab those 3 sentiments that I just mentioned, and we will stamp those on a scrap of white cardstock left over from stamping and die cutting our hearts, making the most of all of our little bits and pieces with that ocean ink. You could use any color here that you want. I think the ocean shows up really nicely, and I've mentioned this many times in my videos, but if I am doing a card that doesn't have a lot of black on it anywhere. I haven't stamped a bunch of images with black outlines or things like that. I often choose to do a colorful ink instead of a black ink. It's just something that I personally really love, and I think it works so nicely with the card. Now, by choosing that dark ocean ink, it's still going to show up really well and be super legible, and that was important to me because I definitely want the recipient to be able to read the greeting on the card. Next, we are taking a sentiment label die. I mentioned this early in the video. This is not a new release. These have been out for a long time, and I don't even put them away anymore. I have a little magnet on my desk, on the shelf there where I work, and I just keep my sentiment label dies right there because I use them that often. This is the second largest in that set. I'm going to go ahead and glue each of these down, again, utilizing those acrylic blocks to hold my sentiments down in place while the glue is drying. And finally, we're going to add some of the brand new, I think it's called Mist Sequins from the Sweetheart release. Yes, it is. They're the perfect color. Now, they coordinate really nicely with the brand new trio of inks from Simon Says Stamp, the newest addition to the Positively Saturated line, but I think they work really nicely with Shiny Bauble Distress Mica Stain and with the ink color trio that I'm using for this card, which is Seafoam, Surf, and Ocean. I'm going to add a little scattering of glue. I'm using an embellishment wand to pick up my sequins and pop them where they go. I am utilizing the Simon Says Stamp triangle trays. These are amazing for holding your small little embellishments in place while you're working, but then funneling them back into storage bags or storage containers when you're done and keeping everything really nice and contained. They're one of my most often used tools right next to that embellishment wand. I did spill them there in my video in case anyone caught that, and I am so glad that this was a voiceover because I was not very happy. Once I have all of my embellishments in place, we are going to go ahead and glue each of these panels down to a white top fold card base. And that is going to be it. That is going to finish up our 3 cards using brand new products from the Simon Says Stamp Sweetheart release. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 3 love-themed cards. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new paper crafting video or I go live. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.